Milton Jones is a 45-year-old man who is a long-haul truck driver. Milton rented a house in the small town of Marble Falls, Texas. Marble Falls is exactly 600 miles from Amarillo, Texas. He has no immediate family members and he is separated from his ex-wife. Milton would talk to his 22-year-old son that lives in Dallas, Texas once a month on the phone, until one day Milton had an accident while hauling in a blizzard on an interstate highway through the Texas Panhandle. Milton came out of the accident alive, but he suffered tremendous damage to his back, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. After the incident, he stayed in a rehabilitation hospital for 6 weeks. Then he was transferred to STU Nursing Care Facility in Amarillo, Texas. In 18 months of him staying in the nursing facility, he felt that he was too young to be there and was wanting to return back to Marble Falls, to an area closer to Dallas, to where his son could visit him more frequently. Upon Milton's arrival in STU Nursing Care, he learned from a Department of Aging and Disability Services eligibility worker of some community options that could be available. But Milton was in pain, and he thought he was going to receive rehabilitation services and then be able to leave the facility freely. Mr. Jones's options on leaving were limited due to his injuries, requiring him to need 24-hour skilled nursing care. After speaking with one of his friends that is getting ready to be transferred out of the facility, he told Milton to speak with ombudsman from the Area Agency on Aging and the relocation specialist, who visit the facility quite frequently. The next opportunity that Milton got, he spoke with the ombudsman, who gave him a brochure called Money Follows the Person to the Community Living, along with the contact information to the local relocation specialist. Contracted by the state of Texas, the relocation specialist assists nursing facility residents who are interested in relocating, and the Department of Agency and Disability Services, DAD's case manager in Texas. Consumers are informed about the community options when they apply for Medicaid. Relocation specialists constantly check the minimum data set MDS Q1A information that is provided to them by the DADs to see any residents that are interested in moving into the communities. In a week of Milton's referral, the relocation specialist went to the facility and met with him to have his request verified, debate his relocation requirements, and conduct an assessment. Milton was given a short talk of the types of 1915C waiver services available, and that a DAD's case manager would provide more detailed information the next time they meet. The relocation specialist is the one to schedule the meeting. The relocation specialist then began to talk to Milton about all the different types of transition support he might want before, during, or after his transition process into the new community. The relocation specialist informed Mr. Jones that they can have a meeting whenever. Milton was told that the ongoing process was there to support him through the transition into his new community, and he would be in charge of making his own decisions of the process. The relocation process contains a lot of information, including personal data, medical conditions, and professional care needs like physical therapy and past home care arrangements, housing and neighborhood preferences, financial situations, any family support, transportation needs, public and private supports are needed, and also with assistive technology needs. Milton's request that he wants to be able to live near a grocery store, a bookstore, he needs transportation to and from his doctor's appointments, and he wants to find a community to where his son could visit him and stay with him for a few days at a time. A DAD's caseworker got into contact with Milton and set up a day and time to come visit with him at the facility to start the application process for community-based services. He ended up choosing the Community-Based Alternatives CBA program because it offered everything that he requested, including nursing services, personal attendant services, minor home modifications, adaptive aids, transportation to his doctor's appointments, and physical and occupational therapy visits. Before Milton began his move, he scheduled a visit with his dad's case manager and his relocation specialist and others to construct a plan to ensure that his move would go problematic-free. Milton sadly ran into a problem. With the lack of community housing, he was placed on a waiting list for every type of housing assist program available. Everything was put on hold for months until one day a place became open that matched all of Milton's requirements. Following the completion of all the required paperwork, Milton began the process of being discharged and starting his relocation process. There were a few issues with his nurse making regular visits on a schedule. Milton became worried if he could live and survive on his own in his own apartment if the nurse was not there. So after contacting his dad's case manager, the service plan outline stated that the staff attends to Milton a few times a week as it is required. The dad's case manager that is assigned to Milton will visit him every 6 months unless other circumstances cause for more frequent visits in person.